Hey guys, my name's Andy and you're watching Andy's Fire Club. So today, as you can see, we got this new logo up there. Sorry it's black and white. You know how expensive color ink is. I'm trying to retire early here, so bear with me for the logo. Today we're talking about what's called the wealth ladder. So the wealth ladder is a series of, let's say, levels of wealth that one can achieve throughout their entire life. And I've given them some cool titles. Now, it's important to talk about the wealth ladder because it's important to realize what level that you're in right now and what level that we want to get to with financial independence. Obviously, with financial independence, we're trying to get to level 6 here. If you're not at level 6, don't worry. This whole channel is devoted to telling you how to exactly achieve financial independence. I think it's important to visualize what level you're already at on the wealth ladder and how you could sort of use FIRE as a way to climb the wealth ladder and get to level 6 or above within a matter of, let's say, 10 to 15 years or even shorter. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's talk about the lowest level first. So I'm gonna start with the top being the worst, and then move my way down. So the first level is what I call absolute dependence. So these are the people that depend on someone else for their daily bread. So they need to depend on someone else to feed them, or else they would literally starve to death because they have no income and they have no way to sustain themselves. So they're absolutely dependent. And this is the case with young children, obviously, but it would really be in a bad situation if you're, say, over the age of 18 and you're still in the absolute dependence phase. So absolute dependence could be dependent on the government as well. So if you're over 18 and you're dependent on the government for your daily needs, then that's sort of a really bad situation. So these are the people that literally have nothing. So the homeless people on the street, let's say, they depend on passersby to give them change, or else they could starve to death, or they could freeze and they don't have a place to go to. And during the winter, they need to sleep on the street even. So it's my hope that none of you watching this video is in the absolute dependent level, or else that would be really bad. And it's really hard for someone in the absolute dependence level to sort of climb themselves out of that level too. So for someone in that level, if you're over the age of 18 and you're homeless, then I don't know how many places would hire a homeless person. Right? So a lot of jobs won't even give homeless people a chance. So yeah, that's a really tough situation to be, and hopefully none of you are in this level. The second level is what I like to call heavy debt. So these are the people that are teetering on the edge of being absolutely dependent. So these are the people that have so much debt that they're never gonna be able to pay it back in their entire lifetime. So no matter how many hours they work, then they're not gonna be able to make enough income to pay back their debts. And these are the people that they might have their house being foreclosed upon, or they might be so knee-deep in credit card debt that they would have to declare bankruptcy. Or it could be people that are stuck with a ton of student debt. So I know student debt is a huge problem here in Canada, and from what I hear, it's even worse in the United States. So a lot of people are under crippling debt from just credit cards and student loans and all this, and payday loans and all these type of debt. That is absolutely crushing. And these are the people that are teetering on the edge of falling into the absolute dependence level. And hopefully none of you are in this situation either. Now, the next phase is what I like to call paycheck dependence. So you would notice that as we move on to the middle few levels, there are more and more people that are in the middle few levels than there are on the ends. So this is sort of, if you want to think about it as a normal distribution, it's sort of bell curve. Right, so as you move closer to the middle, there's more people in these levels. Now, for paycheck dependent, I know a lot of people that are paycheck dependent, and this is a very unfortunate situation to be in as well, because these are the people that are, as the name suggests, living paycheck to paycheck. So if they miss a paycheck, then they might be late on rent, or they might be late on their mortgage, or they might be late on their car insurance. This is not a situation that you want to be in as well. But unfortunately, this is the case with a lot of people. And if you're in this phase, then your options are kind of limited, because you can't quit your job to go to another job, because if you quit your job, then you're gonna not have any more paychecks, and then you're gonna be late on your bills. So that kind of prevents you from looking at new opportunities and trying to pursue new opportunities because you're too tied down to this job currently that you're working on and you can't leave, because as soon as you leave, then you won't get any more paychecks and then you'll default on your loans. Hopefully, we can all try to escape this level as well. So the next level is what I like to call net zero. So net zero is you don't owe any debt, but you're also spending everything that you make. So your net worth is around zero, right? It doesn't have to be exactly zero, but it's around there, right? So you might have a little bit more debt than you do assets, or you might have a little bit of assets more than debt, but it's pretty much almost 50-50, right? So every dollar that you make, you sort of just spend, or it goes back to paying back a loan. So you don't really have anything left over. Your net worth is just zero. So, it's funny to kind of think about how when we're born, right? When you're a newborn baby, your net worth is essentially zero. So when you're a newborn, you don't have any debt, and you don't have any assets either. But as people grow older, it's kind of funny and also sad to see that people, as they grow older, their net worth can still be zero or even go negative. So if your net worth is negative, then that means you somehow accumulated, you owe more money than you did when you were a newborn. And that kind of sucks. Net zero is where you want to get to if you want to escape the bottom three levels, and if you want to try and improve on your finances and hopefully get to one of the levels down here. So the next level, level 5, was what I like to call stability. So stability is when you've accumulated a lot more assets than you have debts. And these assets allow you to escape the 9-to-5 grind. So if you miss a paycheck, or if you find a new job that you want to get and you're willing to quit your current job to move on to the new job, you have the flexibility to do so, because you can afford to miss let's say 1 or 2 paychecks without going under. So these people that are in level 5 stability, they have an emergency fund. So if something bad happens, then they would be able to cover it. And if they get laid off or they get fired, they would have, let's say 3 to 6 months worth of cash in the bank to pay off any emergency that they would encounter. So stability is kind of what you want to aim for if you're at paycheck dependent or net zero, because if you're trying to go from being paycheck dependent to financial independence, that's going to take a while. So maybe if you look at a lesser goal like being financially stable, that'll be an easier target for you to hit in the short term. Now, talking about financial independence is sort of the golden goose that we want to achieve here at this channel. So financial independence, as I said in a previous video, is having the luxury to not have to worry about money. So financial independence is when you've built up enough passive income such that money will just flow to you naturally. So whether it be investments in the stock market, let's say you have a lot of stocks and the stocks pay you dividends, and then you can use that dividend to spend, or you can use it to reinvest and make more money. The point is that if you have stocks that you just hold that you don't have to sell because you're not in dire need of cash, then you can have those stocks sit there and grow, and then some of them will kick off dividends, or you could sell a little bit of them and cash in some of the profits, and then use that money to sustain yourself. The point is, you're not tied down to a 9-to-5 job anymore, right? You're not beholden to a boss. You can just, if you had the option to, you can sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day for the rest of your life and be able to afford the roof over your head or the food that you're eating. So I'm not saying that this is going to be a life of luxury, and I'm not saying that necessarily you would lay on the couch and watch Netflix all day if you achieve financial independence. But the point I'm trying to make is that once you achieve financial independence, you have the option to do whatever you want. So financial independence is really the purpose of this channel and why I started this channel. And hopefully that's something that I'll get to once I'm 35 or maybe even younger. Now, the 7th level is called financial abundance. This is when you have so much passive income that's coming your way that you can use some of that passive income to buy luxury items. So this is a part where you actually would be able to afford luxury items such as a Lamborghini, or if you are really rich, you could buy a yacht, or anything that's typically associated with rich people. you can buy. So once people get to the financial abundance phase, it's really hard for them to lose that money. So at this phase, there's so much money that's coming your way that it's really hard for you to mess up. You would have to mess up royally to fall back down to, let's say, below net zero, right? You'd have to blow all your money on hookers and blackjack. Usually people that get to this level, they have sort of a good intuition on how to get to financial abundance. So the reason why a lot of lottery winners go broke within a year of winning the lottery is because they probably were in, let's say, a heavy debt scenario, and they jumped all the way from heavy debt to financial abundance in a snap of a finger. And they never had to go through all these stages. So usually people that actually went through all these stages to get to financial independence, and then from financial independence got to abundance, those people don't mess up because they know what they're doing. But the problem is that when you go from, let's say, a heavy debt to financial abundance, all of a sudden, then that's when people spend all their money on hookers and blackjack. So that's not what you want to do, obviously. So my point is, if you actually get to achieving financial independence once you're 35 or 40, it's relatively easy for you to get to financial abundance by the time you're 45 or 50. So for most people, I think if you get to financial abundance, you're gonna be set for the rest of your life. So the next level is what I like to call transcendence. Now, very few people in the world are at this level. And if you're at this level, hi, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, so these are the Jeff Bezos and the Bill Gates of the world. So these are the people that have so much money that money literally doesn't exist for them. So these are the billionaires. So it was reported that when Amazon stock hit its all-time high, I think over $2,100 a share or something like that, that Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, was making $1,500 per second. So if you just think about how crazy $1,500 a second is, that if he drops $1,000 on the ground and it would take him, let's say, more than 1 second to pick it up, if he's late for a meeting or something, or if he's in a rush, maybe it's not even worth his time to bend down to pick up that $1,000. Maybe the logical choice would just keep walking. So these are the people that have literally so much money that they can't spend it even if they try. So this channel is not going to teach you how to achieve level 8 transcendence, because obviously I'm not a billionaire myself, so I don't know how. If I knew how, then you guys would know, you guys would be the first to find out about it, right? But hopefully I can teach you how to become financially independent, which is level 6, which I think is a more reasonable goal that most of us can achieve at 35 or even younger if we are diligent and if we actually followed all the principles of saving money, living frugally, and investing for our future. So yeah, with that being said, this is the wealth ladder, and where are you on the wealth ladder? Be sure to hit the like button if you like the video and consider subscribing. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll leave the links down below in the description, and see you guys in the next video.